Nearly all the rolling stock from the old days had, unfortunately, been scrapped years ago. The trolleys here now have been salvaged from other lines and restored by volunteers.
Bob, what kind of work was done on the equipment when you brought it here?
Actually, a lot of restoration was done. First of all, the cars have to mechanically be able to function, to operate, to move, and to stop safely. Second priority, of course, is to make the car look decent and try and preserve it as nice as possible. This particular vehicle we're in was just done over this winter. It was totally stripped out. The ceiling panels were repainted with a professional painter, and all the wood was stained and revarnished again and replaced. That which was kind of dull was antiqued and put back on. So it looks actually probably 200% better now than it did when it was in service on the Chicago Elevated.
Do you have any problems in finding spare parts?
Some of the vehicles, such as this, when we purchase them, we try to obtain or buy additional parts. There were other vehicles available in the market when this car became available, and as such, we are able to obtain various mechanical parts as backups, which we do have. You try to do that when you possibly can. The car we'll ride later on, the yellow streetcar from Superior, doesn't have that option. In fact, we recently had a problem with the compressor on that car, and we had to install a compressor from a trackless trolley to act as an interim compressor until the armature for that one is repaired. So you don't always have the repair part you need. You hope you do. In this particular case, with that armature, we have an associate who runs an electrical repair facility, and so he has the facilities, fortunately, to do the repair on that type of equipment. So either repair it and keep it, or have some spare parts, hopefully.
Okay, now what other equipment do you have in service?
Besides this Chicago elevated car, we have a streetcar which is symbolic of the type of cars that operated in Superior, Wisconsin. That car was built in around the 1914 era. This car here is about 1923 vintage. So it's a little older type of city streetcar. We have other vehicles back in our main shops that operated on the Chicago South Shore. Those cars are more recent vintage, just having been retired about 4 years ago. We also have a very old Wisconsin Power and Light wooden interurban vehicle at our North Prairie barn. It is one of the classic, more beautiful, if you want to call these cars beautiful, vehicles that we have. It's in very bad state of disrepair. It acted as a granary, and as such was partially outside, exposed to the weather. And that particular side of the vehicle is totally rotted away, so it'll have to be completely refurbished. But fortunately, one of the sides of the vehicles was indoor, preserved fairly well, at least as far as a model, and so we'll use that as a symbol to work from, and redo the other side, and then redo the whole car. Again, that car too, there are no spare parts, so we'll have to go around the country to various.
If parts are a problem, there's plenty of free labor. The line depends on volunteers, such as Jim Stevenson and his son Jim Jr. and daughter Jennifer, who drive in from Pleasant Prairie in Kenosha County to work on whatever needs doing. Nearly all shop work is done at the new car barn, which the village built in 1985.
Cut the weeds and trees and bushes and anything else that gets in the way, and try to keep it clear for the trolley cars to operate.
He trims what the brush.
I trim. I get the leftovers. I wind up trimming what the bushwhacker misses here, as I nicknamed the brush cutter.
Well, keep the brush down. We use this big rotary lawnmower type machine that cuts trees up to 6-8 inches in diameter. You can do the line if it's running all the time, and within a week we can chop down 7 miles worth of trees at our holes, pull holes, everything.
But it's fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoy being around the railroad and watching the trolley go past, and if we need anything, of course, then we can either get on the trolley and come back into town and get what we need, or have supplies sent out. But it's nice. I enjoy the group. I've met a lot of real nice people up here, and I enjoy their company. And
the controls on all interurbans or streetcars basically have two functions: make it go, make it stop. And in the stopping facility was usually compressed air, and the brake handle here was used to apply air to the brake system to cause the car to stop. This is called a controller, and of course this is called a brake stand. There is a cord up here for emergency stopping, and as you notice in here, there are a couple sets of light bulbs in this globe up here. Normally, these will go on at motorman's command or at the conductor's command, and there are some that are here especially for battery power. In case the current goes off, you'll still have some lights on in the vehicle. That one doesn't work too good. There we go. Then they usually roll the signs in the front of the car or the back to the particular destination or route that was represented on the sign. I'm just rolling the street signs here of the Chicago car and showing the various signs that are on here. Here it says Evanston Express, backwards of course.
The fortunes of the East Troy line have taken a turn no one could have possibly foreseen 50 years ago. The greatest share of its revenues are from passenger fares now, of all things. But there are still 60 or so freight shipments each year which are handled by the regular crews.
Foresee in the next 2 to 5 years?
Obviously, besides giving a trolley ride to the public, you want to try and produce something stimulating and exciting and historically significant. It's often very difficult to do. Besides the historical need to present these type of pieces of equipment in a historical mode, this is also a business, so you want to progress enough to make money to pay the bills. To that end, we will probably, take some of our cars and do some things with them, such as make them into a dining lounge car, perhaps for chartered, catered meals. We will be taking the other vehicles and making them available for passenger traffic, but we do cater to a lot to charters also, especially in the late spring when the school semesters are wrapping up. There are a lot of young people who come out here for the charters. We had one this late October from Beloit that had 400 school children in one shot. That was a challenge to take care of.
A little note on this particular car. It was built about 1913 in the Twin Cities shops of the Minneapolis Car Company, and served from about 1913 to 1951 in the Duluth Superior area. From 51 until approximately 1980, it was a summer cottage, and then it was rescued from a scrapyard in about 1981-82 by some of our people and partly restored, about 95% restored. The seats and the trucks aren't exactly original, but they're as close as we can get. The seats are from Birmingham, Alabama, and the riding trucks are from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Looks like you're steering. You can't turn left or right, can you? Try it. This scene used to be as common in America as barnyard windmills were, a trolley line paralleling a rural county road. Now this view has vanished everywhere, except here, probably forever. This particular highway was an old stagecoach road 150 years ago. Even though paved highways were the major cause of the demise of the trolleys, there's something exhilarating about the sight of a trolley line alongside a country road. People stop roadside all the time to savor the sight. Railway personnel call them daisy pickers. Give her a pull.
All right, Joe.